Hey there, my name is Kathy, and thank you so much for coming to my channel, Crafty Kathy. If this is the first time that you've ever been to my channel, I'd like to say welcome and thank you so much for stopping by. And if you're returning, you guys know I love you from the bottom of my heart. So I know a lot of my subscribers also have means that they sell their DIYs. You have booths, you do Etsy, flea market, thrift sales, you do all kinds of things. So I came across something that I thought was ingenious for selling our DIYs, and I wanted to share it with you guys. But first, we're going to sing our silly little theme song because I know you guys would get me if we didn't. So let me go grab my executive producer, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I found my executive producer. Are you ready to sing our silly little theme song? Are you ready? On our channel, we got love and laughs and DIYs. 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 Yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo, baby. Yeah. All right, guys, let's don't waste any more time. Let's jump into these DIYs. He just keeps showing out. We just love to have a good time and laugh. We're all about love and laughs and DIYs. With DIY number 1, we're going to start off with this little photo frame that I got from the Dollar Tree. This is what the little insert looks like. It's a 4x6. And I'm simply going to take everything out of it. I'm going to use the little white portion here as a template, and I laid it down on top of a piece of paper that come from a pack that I got off of Amazon. I will link that below in case you want it. It's called Fall Break, and it has some of the prettiest paper in there. So I just traced my little house. Then I simply cut out where I traced along the edges of the paper. Then I put everything back in using a glue stick because I love the way that it sticks with the glue stick. There's no bubbles, no mess. It's so easy. Then I take my home decor white chalk paint, and I am concentrating mostly toward the very middle of this picture to just give it one quick coat of white paint. It doesn't even have to be a perfect coat. It can be just a little wishy-washy coat because it's not even going to be seen. But just in case, I didn't want anything from that cardstock to show through. I put the frame back together, and then I take the actual outside of the frame and I started putting Mod Podge on and forgot I needed to do a little sanding before I do that because for some reason these frames do not want to hold the color. So I do a quick sanding, some Mod Podge, and then some Waverly Antique Wax for staining. I give everything a good quick dry over, and then I'm going to take this beautiful little pumpkin I got off of Etsy and I'm going to stain it with Waverly Antique Wax also. And then I wipe off any of the excess with a baby wipe. Then I just play around to find my location of where I want the pumpkin because I'm actually going to use a sticker, y'all. Yes, a sticker that came from that cardstock package, and it says, "Hello, beautiful, gorgeous fall." And you can't even tell it's a sticker. It's so pretty, y'all. This is such an easy DIY for such a good return. You can sell these for $20 at the least, and you may have 5 in it. I ran out of these at the booth and had a huge demand for more too. When you're trying to sell your DIYs, it's smart to look for something that's going to be just a little bit of time invested and you're going to have a big payout come back. And guys, they were in line for these. They were crazy over them. So anyways, here I just put everything back together and then we're going to put some florals on the top. And you guys would not believe it, That's going to be it, under 5 minutes. At Walmart, I found one little sprig of flowers, and it's called Pumpkin and Berry Pick. I want to say it was only like $1.37. It was one sprig, and that's all you needed. And I've noticed with my DIYs, a lot of times, the simpler you go, the better off they sell. So I just put that right up on the side of my picture with a little hot glue. I did have to clip off the bottom part of the sprig because it was just too long and it was kind of in the way. I did add a couple leaves from a eucalyptus sprig that came from Walmart just to cover up where the little bottom part of the stem was. And when I was finished with that, I felt like it needed something still. So I took one of these little white pumpkin clips that comes from the Dollar Tree that has the little clips on the back. I made a simple shoestring bow from this cute little orange ribbon that came from Dollar Tree. I took a real pine cone and cut it in half. I slowed this down to show you. With the scroll saw, I cut it right down the middle, and it's so cute. And what I'm going to do is put it and the shoestring bow on the left side, which is the opposite side of my little pumpkin pick. Then I took the color that I've been using all season. It's Harvest Orange from Apple Barrel. And I'm going to paint these two little wooden leaves that I get off of Amazon. And they're going to go up in the left-hand side too. I will link those below, those little leaves, because everybody loves those and they're inexpensive and they're on Amazon, and I just embellish all of my crafts with these. And that's all there is to it. It was under 5 minutes and under $5, and I think it's beautiful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, hit that little red subscribe button, and there's a bell beside it, and when you hit that, there's a drop-down menu, and you can click all, and YouTube will let you know every time I upload a video. We'd love to have you in our family. Here goes DIY number 2. I partnered up with a company called HIPOO, and they have these water slide decal papers that were simply awesome. It comes with 20 sheets, and here's some of the ideas that you can put your decals on. You do not need a cutting machine. All you need is a printer. It came with very, very easy instructions on the back. It shows you exactly what to do step by step. I found it very easy to use, and I feel that it's a cheaper way to get a decal, and these things sell like hotcakes. All you do is print your image out on your printer, and then you follow the simple steps. You have to spray 3 times with a clear coat, and then you're simply going to put it in water. And as soon as you put it in the water, it curls up. Look how cool this decal looks. I have this huge battery-operated candle that I'm going to put my decal on. So all you do is put it in the water. And I found it easier when I cut the pieces down and use smaller pieces instead of like one large, decal. I felt that it's easier to do it this way. All you do is wet the surface that you're going to put it on. And then with one hand, you pull the paper out. With the other, you hold it firmly down. And when you wet that surface before you put it down, it creates an area where you can slide your decal around and get it exactly the way that you want it. So I'm going to wet this, and that area is wet already that I'm putting it on. If you'll watch, I pull the white paper out from under with one side, and I'm holding it down with my other fingers. Then I just simply slide it into place. Therefore, it's called a water slide decal. So it slides around and you can get it exactly where you want it. And I used a paper towel, but you can use any kind of rag or anything to just wipe off the excess water. And then you use your fingers to kind of get any moisture out from under or bubbles or anything like that. And I just think this turned out great. It's very simple and easy and quick. And these sold very, very well. Look how amazing this looks. Super easy. I wanted to embellish my candle just a little bit, so I took 2 of the small pine cones that come in a pack from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to place them on the side along with one of those little tiny pumpkins that came out of the potpourri pack. Then I took some jute twine and I went around the top of my candle about 4 to 5 times and just glued that off. Then I did the exact same thing along the bottom about 4 to 5 times, and then I burn off any little fuzzies that remained. And that was it. This literally took me under 5 minutes and definitely under $5 because I got the candle at a thrift store for like $2. This candle sold for $18. So we only have $2 in it, and it was a $16 profit for less than 5 minutes of time. So when I saw how easy these decals are to use, I went decal mad. Let's go into DIY number 3. Now, if you don't know this about me, I am a huge Charlie Brown fan. He was the big thing when I was a kid back in the 80s growing up. And I remember every fall getting to watch The Great Pumpkin with my mom on the couch. And those are some of the best memories that I have. We are going to pay tribute to The Great Pumpkin. So I've got 3 of these little wooden rounds that come from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut everything off of them. And first I filled in all of my holes with the spackle. I took a couple of different colors of apple barrel orange, the harvest orange and the pumpkin orange, and then I used Folk Art Vivid, which I liked it the best. And I mixed it in with a little bit of the apple barrel chocolate bar color because I like my oranges to not be so bright and vivid, but to be kind of a little darker color. And I got this beautiful dark orange color. Then I took some of the Johnson & Johnson's baby powder. It has to be the kind that is made from talc. And I just added just a little bit. I did not measure. I just added a little bit to this to thicken it up. This is how you make chalk paint. It's usually 1 part each, 1 part paint to 1 part of the talc. But like I said, I didn't measure. I didn't want it to be chalk paint. I just wanted it to be a little bit thicker. So I mixed it up and my color turned out so perfect and beautiful. And it smelled like a baby's tush. So I gave my wood circles a really quick sanding, especially around the edges. Then I went in with 2 coats of my beautiful orange color. And then I gave it a really quick sanding just to kind of make it look a little distressed. Then I took my Waverly Antique Wax and I'm going to go all around the edges and in the middle of my pumpkin to really distress it. And of course I had to use the finger method. And just in case of those who don't know, the finger method is where I distress around the edges and I just kind of rub it in with my finger because for some reason a finger is a perfect distresser. Then I did another quick little sanding just to knock off some of the brightness of that distressing. And then I took one of these little signs that come from the Dollar Tree and I'm just going to paint the top of it with the color truffle, and I only did 1 coat. And then I took about 10 of the tumbling tower blocks and I also painted those with the truffle. I printed out an SVG that I had purchased on Etsy. Look at my cute little Linus waiting on the Great Pumpkin. And I'm just going to cut this out. At first I was going to put it all over the circle in the middle, but then I decided not to.
and I started going smaller and smaller, and I cut all the way around the image, like cut the whole image out where none of the white was showing. Then I did the same method. I popped him in the water for 1 minute, and then I laid him down on my little round and slid it right off, and then I wiped off the excess of the water. This is so easy, guys. I just want to thank HIPOO for partnering with me and for sending me these decal papers, because this opened up a whole new can of worms for me. And guys, everything that I see, I'm like, I could make a decal out of that, and I just went crazy with it. So I just glued my pumpkins together, and then I'm going to take 3 of the tumbling tower blocks. I put 2 in the front and then 1 in the back, and I made 3 of those, and we're going to place those on the back of our pumpkin, and that's what's going to help our pumpkin to stand up. And once I have the tumbling tower blocks glued to the back, I'm simply going to glue that to the very top of my little sign, and voila, we have a great pumpkin. I used one of the little stems that I got from the Dollar Tree last year to go on the top for the stem of the pumpkin, and I just glued it to the back. And since I painted my pumpkin orange, I felt like I needed to go around a couple spots with the Sharpie just to highlight some of the areas of the pumpkin and Linus, just to make him show up just a little bit more. I glued a twig to the top of my pumpkin that came from an old garland because it looked just like a pumpkin's leaves. Then I glued down some of the stuff that looks like hay that come from the Dollar Tree just on both of the sides. And then I have these 2 little eucalyptus stems that come from Walmart, and I glued those on there also. I take one of the little foam pumpkins from Dollar Tree and just cut it right down the middle. Then I took 2 pieces of a little fence that I had purchased at Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to add these to the side to make it look like Linus is waiting in the pumpkin patch for the great pumpkin. Then in behind the fence on the hay is where I stuck my 2 little half pumpkins. Then I took my little finger sander and I went all the way around my pumpkin so the edges would have a lighter color, and it really popped and distressed and looked gorgeous. Then I took some of the pit berries that come from the Dollar Tree, and I went around a paintbrush to make the little tendrils of the pumpkin, and I wrapped it around the stem. Then I got a couple of sprigs of that green wheat that I bought off of Amazon. I'll link it down below too. And I just stuck it in the sides where the eucalyptus stems were. I made a little bow out of raffia, and I'm going to put it right underneath the great pumpkin. Then I took a few of those little sunflower clips that come from the Dollar Tree, and I just stuck them in a couple random spots inside the fence around the pumpkin patch. Then I added 2 little pine cones around the raffia bow, and that's all I did, and this is my favorite. I so love Charlie Brown. And you know, all these years later, I still watch it every year when it comes on TV, and me and my family will sit there together and I recite it word for word because I have the whole movie memorized, and they're like, "Mom, just stop." But I absolutely love this. Halloween would not be the same without the great pumpkin for me. Before we go into DIY number 4, let's not forget, guys, that we have the blessings box. Here on our channel, we pray for each other, and if you need it or you want us to pray for you, all you have to do is leave it in the comments below or on my email. All right, let's go right into DIY number 4. We're going to make a mug. One of my subscribers, Miss Diane Mitchell, has named my chickens the Squawk Squad. So I made this SVG, and it says Squawk Squad Chicken Farm. And I'm going to put this on a mug. This was so super easy. Of course, I didn't sell this because nobody knows what the Squawk Squad is except for us. It's our little secret. But I'm going to use this mug for years to come, and I'm so super excited. We're going to make this just like we did all the other HIPOO water slide decals. The first thing I did was kind of prop my little cup up. I dipped my decal in the water, and it says between 30 and 60 seconds. I tended to leave them about 60 seconds in lukewarm water. And then all I do is wet my cup just a little bit so we can do the water slide. I hold the paper with one hand and then the actual decal with the other hand. And I simply slid it off and then positioned it exactly how I wanted it. And then I just took my little towel and I dried off the excess water. Guys, this took me about 2 minutes and I love it. I'm going to use this forever. I love my coffee, but you know I love my girls too.
I've got to make a mug that says Diane's Chicken Farm Squawk Squad.
DIY number 5 is also a quick one. I have this cute little pumpkin that I got at the Dollar General for $1, and it has a little clip on the back of it where you can clip a picture. These are the 2 that I purchased. I took my home decor white chalk paint and I gave it one good coat, and I saw that the colors were still coming through, so I gave it another coat and I made sure to get all around the edges. And then I painted my stem with the Waverly Antique Wax, and then I gave it a quick go around and just kind of distressed all around the edges of the pumpkin. Then I took that Waverly Antique Wax and that little small paintbrush that I had and made 2 little divots in the middle of the pumpkin, and then just kind of distressed it a little bit. This SVG says Cutest Pumpkin in the Patch, and I made it on the little water slide decal. I dropped it in the water. I waited for 1 minute. I took it out, and then I wet the pumpkin just a little bit with my finger, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull the paper out from under with one finger, and with the other 2 fingers, I'm holding the decal down. And since the pumpkin's wet, I can slide that decal around to exactly where I want it, and then I just take my little towel and dry off the excess. Now we're going to embellish it. I've got my Apple Barrel chocolate bar and the Folk Art color Vivid, and I mix them together to make that darker orange color that I love. And I'm going to paint one of my little Amazon leaves, the little wood leaves that I get from Amazon. And then with another, I painted it with the chocolate bar to make it a brown color. And then the last leaf, I'm going to use Apple Barrel's color called King's Gold. It is a perfect autumn yellow, and I absolutely love this color. I'm going to take and glue my 3 little leaves just in various spots where I think that they would look good. And then it wouldn't be one of my DIYs without my little pine cones now, would it? So I took 2 of my pine cones from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to just glue those in various spots. Then I take some Dollar Tree ribbon that has pumpkins on it, because Cutest Pumpkin in the Patch, what other ribbon would I use? It matched perfect. And I made my little shoestring bow, and I placed that right on the stem. And then I'm going to take some of the pip berries and make the little tendrils for this pumpkin. I just used my finger to map out the way that the tendrils should be. And then I popped a picture of my little grandson in the back, because to me, he is the cutest pumpkin in the patch.
So that's it for today's video, guys. You know I love you and I hate to go. I hope I gave you some good DIY inspiration. And if it's your heart's desire to sell your DIYs, then this is a good, easy, and cheaper method. You don't have to have a cutting machine to do your decals. I hope you'll try it out. I am going to link a 40% off coupon below. And guys, I don't have a lot of footage of the Squawk Squad from this week because it's been like crazy rain here in Tennessee. It's been really rough, trees falling. I mean, it's been crazy this week. But I do have a little bit of footage that I'm going to share with you guys. And until I see you next time, I hope that you stay safe, stay humble, and stay blessed. I love y'all. Bye.
Well, Today we went to Tractor Supply and got a flock party, y'all. This is 5 pounds of mealworms for the low, low price of $35. And that's what my girls get every week as their snacks. Loretta, stop being mean to her. Leave Tanya Tucker alone. Hey, Tanya didn't mess with you. Leave her alone. Did you guys become friends? Oh, get him, girl, get him. Get him, girl. Come here, Sabby. He says, I'm just going to throw myself in the pool. What has life become to that I'm friends with a cat? Sabby, stop smelling whatever that is.
Him's friends with a pretty girl. Yes, he's friends with a pretty girl.
And by the way, if anybody has any suggestions besides me taking allergy shots, I am madly allergic to this cat. She's made me sick since she's been here, guys. When I was younger, I was never allergic to cats the last time I had one, so I didn't think anything about it when I got her. But I've been having bad headaches, even nauseated. Y'all let me know if you have any advice. I love y'all.